Hi, I'm Leika from Pierce Conservation District. Now today it might look like we're cooking something, but we're actually talking about soil. Everything we eat depends on having a healthy soil. So what exactly makes up a healthy soil? Let's consult our cookbook and find out.
Our recipe has 20 parts. 9 of those parts consist of what you normally call soil. Things like sand, silt, and clay. And all of these vary in size and qualities. The best soil for growing crops is called a loam, where all 3 types are about equal. The next 10 parts are split evenly between air and water. Plants need both of these to grow. Without air and water, the soil will be too compact for the roots. The last part is organic matter. This is made from dead and decaying organisms, and soil contains billions of microorganisms like bacteria and fungi that break down this organic matter into a nutrient-rich soil.
Now that we know the ideal proportions for having good soil, let's conduct some experiments to see what types of soil we have. Our first test is called a ribbon test. To do this, you take some of your soil, get it wet until you can kind of ball it up in your hand. And here we've got sand, clay, and then our soil from outside, so you can see the difference. So now the sand doesn't make a ribbon at all because it's so porous, not very sticky. And you can't even make it into an egg shape either. Now next we'll do our clay. Now clay is the best for making ribbons because it's so sticky. Okay, now we've got our clay balled up like this. We'll just kind of push it through our fingers and have it form a ribbon. Now because clay is so malleable, we can make the ribbon into however long we want it to be. We've got our ribbon, and we can make it longer if we wanted to. And now we have our soil sample from outside, and we'll get this wet until we can kind of mold it with our fingers into an egg shape. So we can't make ribbons as long as the clay one because it has other particles in it, but we made some decent ones.
Soil scientists use charts like these to determine what type of soil they are working with. You can compare the length of the ribbons you make and get a rough estimate on the type of soil you have. The clay we had was about 6 centimeters and the sand couldn't form anything. Our soil sample from outside made a ribbon of about 2.5 centimeters, meaning it's between a sandy loam and a loam. Another test we can do is called a texture tube, or in this case we're just using a mason jar. So all you have to do is put the soil in the jar and then add water. Oh, it's spilled. Oh well. And then you add some dish soap to break up the large particles. And then we'll cover it and shake it. And once you're done shaking, you'll just let it sit for a couple of hours or overnight. Now here we have one that's been sitting for a while, and you can kind of start to see the layers come through. A common tool that soil scientists use is called a soil texture triangle. On the triangle we see the percent sand axis, the percent silt, and the percent clay. And once we have the percentage of each in our soil, we can use the chart to figure out what type it is. My sample was composed of 57% sand, 20% clay, and 23% silt. Once you find the intersection of all 3 particle sizes, you can find out the texture of your soil. My sample was a sandy loam. Now these 2 tests were just a couple of the ones that you can do to study soil. You can also do stuff to study the chemical properties or other physical properties. Scientists are always learning new stuff about soil, and some say that we know more about space than we do the world under our feet. And I think that calls for more exploring. So I hope you do some of these activities at home. Bye!